KCAA.com. KCAA.
No matter what it is in life that you want, you gotta go out there and get it. Just don't let it come to a sleeper but a dream. Never give up on your goals, stay focused on you. Focus your view, succeed, cause I'm hoping you do. Keep climbing up the ladder, cause the key to success. Go hard and go home, never settle for less. Life is stress, but we gotta deal with it, homie. Send a prayer to the man to put a shield on it. Work hard for what you get, appreciate what you got. You can always improve, just don't stop. Going for your dream to achieve in your life. Gotta take a chance like rolling the dice. It won't come to you, so you gotta go get it. At the end of the day, add up the digits. Miss Price used to say, if there's a will, there's a way. So I live by it until this very day. I kept on mashing and I never...
What's up, team? This is Robert Porter and Nipiani Lockhart with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show, The Talent Show today! Yeah, brought to you by Motivational Realization.
Hey, energy of positive. Oh,
Yeah, boy! Yeah! That's how we do it here at I Love San Bernardino County. We're going to have a great show today, right?
Yes, indeed.
We have two incredible guests. Well, would you please introduce yourselves?
My name is Dion Jamal.
My name's Mary Valdemar.
And we're going to get into some really good poetry and some talent. And, of course, Ipiani's got lots of events to share with us. Didn't you travel all over the world last week?
Yeah, you could say that. It felt like it, right?
That's like, wait, the guy's in Sacramento. Where's it at? He's at the beach? Oh, he's everywhere. Well, that's awesome, and I'm glad you're getting to do, what you want to do and have fun with it.
Amen. It's a blessing. On that note, I had a wonderful opportunity to fly up to Sacramento earlier at the beginning of last week to advocate for a few bills. One of the bills was actually authored by one of our local assembly members, James Ramos, and it's Bill 2711, which in my mind kind of helps prevent the school-to-prison pipeline. It basically would make it where before they have to expel or suspend kids that might be dealing with some substance abuse issues, that they have to give them support, so have counseling or therapy, but to exhaust all the resources that are available before we start expelling or suspending the kids for a long duration, because many may not know this, but a lot of our youth, they built the size of the prisons they gauged the future size of prisons by the students that don't pass the third grade reading level, right? So we want our kids to be able to, is that real? You know how I was just saying off air about we don't want our communities to be an incubator for incarceration, right? So this bill is basically trying to make sure that we exhaust all the resources before we take extreme measures in disciplining the youth, because if we suspend them or expel them, they're off campus, right? And they might have parents at work. Now they're out there in the streets, and they could really get caught up in some even more serious things.
Did he have the votes?
You know what? We were there to advocate for the
Okay.
vote. So it was a work in progress.
Okay.
Most of the people that I engaged, assembly members that I was able to engage with, were supportive. One of them was not. I don't want to put the assembly member on blast because we have to cultivate those relationships.
Yes.
They might not agree with you on this bill, but we shouldn't.
And in fact, I wouldn't want them to agree with everything. I want them to change sometimes and be able to change, right?
Totally.
Yeah, and it's important for our politicians to be like, oh, wait, I didn't know that. I'm going to alter the way I think and, change.
What you're talking about is so important, though, especially for San Bernardino,
Yes.
because I don't know if you guys have seen on E Street, they're building this huge building right across from the police station. It is going to be basically a police station for the school district. So right across from the city police, there's going to be a police station where it's strictly for students.
I hear you.
And a lot of us in the community right around there, when we found out about that, we were like, how did this happen? And it was really plugged as like mental health, homelessness, like a resource center.
It's a family resource center.
But we pulled the schematics, and the schematics, half of the building, 15,000 square feet, is going to be a police station for students. For the school district.
It was impossible to stop it. I actually went and met with the son. I tried to stop the building from being destroyed on 7th Street.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And, like they knew what they were doing, and they want that in part.
Yep.
It's their campus right there. So they want the police school police to be right there with them. They're on Baseline and is that Baseline and
No,
E
it's
Street.
E Street.
Yeah.
It's E Street right next to the school district office.
yeah.
So
Right next to the
yeah,
adult
yeah,
school
yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
The shocking thing you just told me that I'm probably going to have to write a piece about is the third grade
Yes, yes.
reading level is a indicator
Yes.
of them and how big they're how well
Yeah.
the prison's going to be
The
modeled
tracking, they start tracking them third, fourth
So
grade.
it's a plan.
It's a plan. It's a
Yeah,
plan.
it's calculated. So that's why
Premeditated.
it's so important to make sure that we're empowering our youth. That 0 through K, you know, is so those formative years are so important that we make the allotted investments to make sure that our youth are reading above a third grade level. Have them reading fifth and
120
sixth.
120,000 per kid.
Yeah, yeah, 130, right?
Yes, yes.
can- let's
130
just
per
ask
kid.
for that.
That's
right
enough.
then.
Let's just ask for that investment per year,
Then with
right?
these kids, you know, like with
That's
that
our
kind of
future.
money, you might even be able to pay kids to go to school, man.
You really, literally could.
Yeah.
You could pay them,
or at
to
least
improve.
get, maybe a trade, maybe some type of
Vocational.
a vocational type of situation as well. But just to have those funds available.
Totally.
Or certainly eliminate all the barriers like transportation,
Yeah, totally.
you know, food. We can cover that with 130,000 per
All day.
person. Like,
All
yeah.
day,
All day, all day, every day.
We could probably cover a couple of people.
Yes.
And the amount of money that it would save in the long run
Yes.
would be exponential.
You see that?
Especially once you go in there and you're in there for life or something.
Yeah.
That,
right.
that makes too much sense.
yeah, so you know it'll never
It,
work.
it makes too
It'll
much
never
sense.
work because
Well, we just solved it right now. Nah, let's not do that.
Well, definitely. With that being said, I know that there was a lot of wonderful Juneteenth celebrations over the weekend. So we can just go around to see what people did. Even if you didn't go out and participate, what did you do on the day off? You know what I mean? How about yourself, Robert? What did you do?
I stayed and manned the page,
All
and,
right.
and I was very supportive. I posted everything that
Thank
came
you.
through and all the events. And I did not make it to many events, but I haven't been making it to a lot of events lately. I'm sorry, team. I don't have a car right now, so I'm kind of just bumming rides everywhere, right? So, like, some of the events got to give up, but
Totally.
it's also super hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Yeah. So,
Hot as fish grease.
Yeah, yeah.
My grandma would say. Second batch.
I'm sure it was really cool up at Cal State. You know,
It was
as,
it
the
was
atmosphere was cool, but it was a little warm, you know.
Of course, of course.
But did you have a great time, or?
Yes, had a wonderful time up there at Cal State San Bernardino. Sad that the San Bernardino Valley one didn't manifest, like, because that's how we initially started it like 9 years ago over at Ann Sherrill Park, and then eventually we got so big that we did go over to San Bernardino Valley College, but some politics and things of that nature. But we're going to try to. I'm reaching out to people trying to bring it back. So just on hiatus, it's not over. But I heard the one at San Manuel, the 66ers went well. And then shout out to our standout of the week, Vicki Davis, who helped organize the one in Rialto, their second
Rialto
annual
was
one.
bomb,
It's Black. She runs Black to the Block and helps orchestrate the Juneteenth celebration. So last year was the inaugural event, and this year was the second year, and both years have been phenomenal.
We also had one at Valley College. The black faculty and staff
Yes, you guys
did a
did.
very low key one with like music, and we had Graham's barbecue there.
Hey
we
now,
had
from
ribs
Riverside.
and soul food. It
Hey
was
now,
good.
hey now.
And me and my daughter went, and she was out there doing the line.
Cha-cha slide?
Yeah, the cha-cha slide and the electric slide and all that. And we were out in the shade, and I brought some folks over from some other colleges who really don't make it out to Valley too often, like the Claremont colleges,
I
like
hear
some
you.
of the more,
Awesome. Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
I hear you.
private
I'm
school
over
vibe,
there.
right?
I'm over there too.
And I was like, hey, this is what our community looks like,
Beautiful.
so that folks could really see, what things can look like on the other side of the Inland Empire, because
Totally.
folks get really siloed in their neighborhoods, right?
Definitely.
And sometimes they don't ever come out and see what else is happening in other parts of the city.
Totally, because Claremont, we adopted them, kind of like Pomona, right? They're not really a part of San Bernardino County,
Yeah.
but they're right next door. So
Yeah.
They're IE.
yeah, that's what
We call them IE Extra, and Pomona's LA Extra. That's like the
But
extra
Pomona definitely doesn't want to be known.
How about yourself? How about yourself, D?
Oh man, I stayed at home honestly, and because I, just my work schedule being what it is, because I actually work with the youth, Big Bear Middle School. I'm a counselor there, so yeah, hands on, and I see, what we talk about, and I try to encourage my kiddos. Not only that education is the key, however, but just having resilience and understanding that just do your due diligence.
Yeah.
please stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the best way you can. But I was able to watch the Kendrick Lamar
Oh, okay.
pop out concert. Now,
That's
They not like us.
a whole episode in itself.
listen, I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan just because of the realness that he comes with when in his verses, right? And it's all, it's just street poetry at this point.
Yeah, he's a poet.
However,
Yeah.
but what he did was he brought all the entire West Coast rappers that we've never even heard of, and MCs that we never even heard of, and gave them a chance. But not only did he do that, he brought all the gang members and the leaders of the sets,
Unity,
the Crips, the
unity.
got them together.
Amen.
And they all had it was like a truce type of
There you
situation.
go.
It was
There you go.
incredible. Like
We all in the same game.
we all in the same game. That's what he said. He said we ain't been right since Nipsey died.
I hear you.
So, and he went ahead and brought everybody together, and that was so powerful because the emotion that came behind it. Because you had these people who were killing each other,
Yeah.
and didn't care about each other's life, coming together in this unification.
Standing on the shoulders of folks like Tupac, right?
Yeah.
And other
Oh
folks who
my
did that
goodness!
work. Yeah.
My goodness, and well, we give Drake thanks for that. Thank you for that. Because what you did
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Unity.
Thank you, Drizzy.
With that being said, we're going to...
We have the standout of the week, so go ahead and mention her name
Yes,
again.
yes. Once again, Vicki Davis of Black to Block Wounded Healers as well does a lot of amazing work. Thank you, Vicki, for the leadership that you've shown in our community, as well as partnering with the city of Rialto. Shout out to Mayor Deborah.
Stronger Together IE
Robertson.
too,
Yeah,
right?
and Stronger Together, IE. Just a lot of amazing events and showing us, our community, how it looks to come together and celebrate all the cultures in our community. You know what I mean? Because we are one community. We are humanity,
Can you imagine if we had an event like that, like every week?
Oh
like,
my God,
just
that'd
like
be beautiful.
every week.
Someday
That makes
it's
too
gonna
much
happen.
sense.
Hey, Parks and Rec is working on that.
Totally.
Yeah,
Shout out to Parks
they're
and
really
Rec.
doing some excellent work over there. And that standout of the week, the San Bernardino standout of the week, is brought to you by Ben Chavez with First Lineage Site Services, and I want to thank them. So over a year they've been sponsoring the
Thank you,
standout of the
Ben.
week and showcasing individuals in our community that they deserve a little love for once in a while.
Amen.
You know?
Amen. Well
It's
said.
not that hard to just say thank you for hard work.
Amen. Definitely.
And we appreciate you, Ben. And we also like to mention Max Zaire with Celebrity Bar and Grill.
Hey!
Max didn't answer his phone today, so usually that means he's taking a break, a well-deserved one, definitely. But thank you, Max, for supporting this show for so long. We really do appreciate you. And Motivational Realizations, and Yanni, thank you for all you do as well.
thank you,
And
brother.
I can't wait to hear this awesome poetry today. And I even get to perform a little myself.
There you go. And with that being said, you're going to launch us right now. So today we have a special treat. The poet that is getting ready to bless the mic today, not only is he a phenomenal man and does great things in our community, he is the creator of I Love San Bernardino, as well as the host of the I Love San Bernardino County radio show. Let's give a warm round of applause to the amazing and distinguished anthropologist, Robert Porter.
Thank you very much, team. Oh. Where's the applause, engineer?
E-Money.
All right, here.
Shout out to E-Money.
So here I'm reading from the book, Poetic Art, Poems for My Hood, San Bernardino.
For my hood. There you go. There you
All
go.
right, and this one I call Anxiety's Goal. Scared as hell is anxiety's goal, wanting to crawl into a deep hole. Hiding will never solve my mind. Just get to it while being kind. Finding solutions wherever I may. Often looking for a needle in hay. Found the resources, jumped in the air. Got enough together to pay for the fare. Doubting yourself is not a good thing. Just listen to life. True glorious ring.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. That's what's up. I love the fact that you talked about, not doubting ourselves, right? I'm big on that because so often we have to speak life into our life and speak life over our life. And sometimes we might not be conscious of the doubt that we speak in our life or the death that we speak over our life. So it's so important to take dominion over thyself, your mind, body, and spirit.
You do make sure I realize that. And the reason I do it is to try to sometimes I use it to humble myself. Right? I want to be humble or in my mind, right? So that's why sometimes, right? I don't want to be too cocky, right?
Definitely.
But you still have to have some self-esteem, right?
You
Right?
gotta have positive self-esteem.
But
You
I don't
have
think
to.
I'm missing much of that. But like sometimes I feel like sometimes I need to be more humble. So
I hear
that's
you.
I think that's reason. But I do try to be more positive, just because you say it all the time, and
I hope you do.
and
I
like
hope
when
you
you lead by example, all you can do is follow people like that.
And we're all guilty as human beings. It's just learning how to being conscious of that and aware of it. And once you're aware of it, try not to do that. But we're all works in progress. So none the greater, none the
Yeah,
less.
there's lots of scars here.
I'm perfect.
Wait a second. Where's tattoos?
Dion's not like us.
No, he has got tattoos. He's got cool tattoos, man. He's got like body art.
I got a few.
Where can we find your book at, Robert?
Oh, you can get this on Amazon anytime you want, and it's right there with my Native Mega Art book. So take a look, and you can get that. I also have Legends of the Arrowhead on Amazon as well. I've been going through the Legends of the Arrowhead just recently. I'm going to go through each one of the individual stories from the early 1900s and just read them word for word how they were originally written.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So I'm finding the reels is a good way to get that information out. And in fact, the first Arrowhead, Legend of the Arrowhead that is attributed to San Manuel, told by John Brown Jr. In 1913, is the first one I just did. And I found that legend in the old newspapers. It didn't exist before I found it. Right?
Other than being in the newspaper.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Well,
whoa.
except of course from the native people themselves,
Absolutely.
which was before the newspaper.
absolutely.
Let me just say that.
But what I would assume that one was probably in their native tongue, right?
yes.
So this is an actual a retelling of the story that was told to him. So I wouldn't ever want to put something on the Yuhaviatam that they don't want, right? This is all. This is just history that was written down by this journalist from this
that era.
founding father of San Bernardino, right? But it's very interesting history.
Totally.
And when I did mention it to Rowena Ramos of San Manuel, she said she had heard the story before.
Okay.
Right. So it's kind of interesting, kind of cool.
No, it's very
and it's cool to be able to do the history on reels. So.
Definitely. Thank you, Robert, for
I'm sorry,
blessing.
I'm
No.
not-
Thank you. Thank you for blessing us and letting people know where they can purchase your amazing works and where to find your other works.
Okay. And you're next.
And I'm gonna bow out today because I want to make sure everyone has ample time to do their thing. But I love the fact that you were willing to do your thing
Well,
today.
thank you.
Definitely, and we'll in the future we'll have a show where we'll get to focus
Let's
a
just
little
go
more on
back and
our
forth
art.
all the
Yeah,
show.
there we go.
And Mick Eric.
And Eric, we'll get Eric. You got to bust some lyrics or something. Do one of his songs.
Eric got bars.
He got bars and beats.
All right.
You know what I mean? With that being said, Brother Dion, if you could hit us with your first piece.
This is from my first book, and my only book. Not the last one, hopefully.
Amen.
Black Coup. And this is called Men Mori. I've known men who became fathers, never once having seen a father. I know men weaned on the trauma of queens. I've known men who told wives the most horrible things. I've known men that have bled in the soil of America, men that have seen so much evil that they stopped believing in their God. I've known men that saved the deepest hate for themselves. I've known men that found the deepest love at the bottom of a glass. I've known men who found relief in self-destruction, men who'd rather punch than talk, who'd rather give up than surrender. I've known men to find purpose. I've known men to use their strength for good. I've known men willing to apologize. I've known men who kiss their sons on the lips, men who dance with their daughters on floors made from their dreams. I've known men who now hold mommy up and not down. I've known men that have fully surrendered rather than give up. And I've known all these men to be me. Thank you.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Brother Dion.
Wait a
Brother
second.
Dion.
So you apologize sometimes now, huh?
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's a hard skill to learn how to do. I know some people that can never do it.
Growing up, and that's what Black Who's about. It's about me growing up in the Reaganomics era. And being raised in a certain way, especially when it came to manhood. And with what I saw, apology was definitely needed, along with therapy, along with a slew of things that I find myself now doing for my children. I have 7 children. Yes, I said 7.
Beautiful.
You have a school.
And we homeschool too. So no, yeah, my wife is incredible. So
Shout out to the wife.
shout out to the wife. Yes. However, and in that piece, it's just a story about how to come to a crossroad in my life and make a decision about what type of family that I want to have, and breaking those generational curses. So apology is part of it. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's there's still respect and stuff that comes along with how they do explain themselves, and I do give them that chance to do that. However, I listen a little bit more than I than I bark.
There you go. There you go. Growth.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Growth. Amazing, brother. Amazing. Brother. With that being said, we're going to go to Mary Baltimore as she gets ready to share one of her pieces with us right now. The stage is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna. This poem's called "I Am," and it's in the spirit of Yo Soy, which is a very iconic Chicano poem. That also takes a lot of inspiration from other poets, revolutionary poets. So this poem is kind of an homage to poets, revolutionaries, and my grandmother. These tattoos that I have on my wrist are the story of my matriarchal family. And in that story, my great-great-great-grandmother crossed the desert from Arizona to California while pregnant, and she was hit by lightning.
Whoa.
She was supposed to have twins, and the boy passed away. The girl survived, and that became my grandmother. They named her Rayo Barajas, which means lightning. And then my grandmother was named Maria Rayo, and I was named Mary after her, so the granddaughter of lightning. That's beautiful. And you're going to hear that reference in the poem, but you're going to hear a lot of references. If you love poets, if you love revolutionaries, and if you love my grandmother, you'll hear her words in this. I am. I can hear it coming from the tip of your tongue. As I rise to the podium, I rise. As I grab the bullhorn by the horn. As I raise my hand to ask the question you don't want asked. As I shout out to injustice, nevermore, nevermore. Here it comes, whispers in the back of the room. How dare she? Brown gal like me, gotta hear this shit for her misery? Who does she think she is? Well, let me tell you who I am. Yo soy Maria, the granddaughter of lightning, the descendant of survivors, the blood of the people who worked this land for 6 generations, where the borders crossed us, where our language was lost, where we walked the streets into our own history and finally got off the damn sidewalk. I am bilingual, but not of the romantic language of conquistadors. I speak fluent riot. The language of the unheard. I am the warrior. I am bound up with and flow from my people's struggle, grasping things at the root until we are Groot. I am the strength of all mujeres. I am the rocks on which we really build. I am the dominant force of protection, but I'm also the gentle love that binds. I am the Mother Mary, the blanket of warmth that wraps broken souls, the face that shows up when oppression calls to intercede, or maybe just break balls. I am the other you, the mirror that shines, from which you cannot hide, the truth teller in this den of lies. And no, your PhD does not impress me. Your BS is not to be framed on my wall. I have a degree of my own, a master's of art in revolution, a bachelor of science in these streets, an associate's in activism. I have graduated from my own school. I will not be silent about things that matter. I am tired of giving up. You cannot uneducate me. You cannot humiliate my pride. You cannot make me afraid anymore. There is no turning back. I will win. We will win our revolution of mind and heart. So who do I think I am? I will tell you. I am the creatress. I am the woman warrior. I am Chicana.
Beautiful.
Yes, you are.
Beautiful.
Woo! Fire!
Fire. Yeah.
There's so much love in that, and I love what you said about breaking generational curses, because that's what that's all about, right? Like understanding the story of my family for generations and generations, and so many of our youth not only do they not know the stories because our education system doesn't tell our histories, right? But they also no longer have those relationships of a great grandmother, a grandmother, right? Folks are so isolated and individualized in their homes that we don't have that larger community where we used to share stories, you know? So a lot of the work that I do is about all we want is our stories to be told. And we've been releasing a series of zines, kind of like talking about the history that you've been talking about, Robert, the local story of Chimney Rock for the Yuhaviatan people, the local story of Rubidoux Mountain, which is a documentary out right now called Pacapa, you know, the local story of Slover Mountain in Fontana and how that was so important to Native people, you know, the stories that really need to be told in our communities, not just for our own families, but for peoples who've been erased, you know, and for me, a lot of that is, of course, lifting up the stories of, you know, people like me, Chicanas, you know, brown folks, indigenous folks, but also I have an obligation to center the stories of California Native people. Beautiful. Because early on in my organizing, right, I was like, Viva Chicana, you know, Viva la Raza, this was Aslan, this was Mexico. Well, that's great, except there was somebody here before that, you know, and that was California Native people. So it's part of my job, if I'm going to make sure that my stories are told, then I also have to lift up the other people whose stories are erased. Amen. And that means, for me, California Native people, those stories need to be told from their tongue, in their way, about what they want, you know, and so we're trying to do that work. And
I always hope that Aslan was Big Bear Lake.
There's actually a fascinating story. It's a book called The Cradle of Aslan, written by Chimawevi elder Alfredo Figueroa in Blythe, where he talks about Blythe being the cradle of Aslan, and that many of the things that happen in Mexico are kind of like copies of what happens in nature in Blythe.
So all the dry lake beds, or?
Well, there's a lot of things. There's like the mountain ranges, and you know how when you go to the pyramids, I don't know if you guys know this, but that's the certain solstice, the snake comes down the pyramid, the shadow of the snake, like everything is aligned to the stars and the solstice and, you know, the technology, right? And this goes back to our schooling, right? Our black and brown folks don't learn that their ancestors were scientists. We act like science happened in 1942. No, science was here long before that.
And doctors.
Yeah. The medicine, the knowledge about...
Some of the best doctors in this area, and settlers often found themselves going to native doctors when they had no choice in finding cures.
So recentering the idea that all of our people had science, you know, and that is part of their ancestral legacy. So how do we reconnect with that and tell those stories so that they know they can do math and STEM and all the things that they want to do, you know?
And that's why I homeschool. No, seriously.
I was going to ask about that. Like, how do you stop your kids from wanting to go to the school you teach at, or you counsel
Who
at?
wants to visit their parents' job?
First of all,
I would love to go. I don't know. I'm a mama's boy, I guess. I know. Yeah.
my wife, once again, gets the credit. She's an amazing, not only woman, but she's an educator. She wrote curriculum for a couple of schools, and one of the things she got flack for is the truth. Mm. And they don't.
That means she's doing it right.
No, she did a piece on women warriors, and it was all about the women who, behind the scenes in history, it wasn't,
That
Paul
sounds
Revere's one of.
amazing.
It come to find out, there was a lot of natives, there was a lot of brown, a lot of, and women in general, who helped, and she wrote this incredible curriculum, and parents called and were like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, just telling the truth. And she got flack for that. So we made a conscious decision to teach my children. And you had said something too, is it's humanity, right? And the story needs to be told, because then that brings everybody together. Because let's imagine if everybody's story was told, it wouldn't be any. It'd be like, okay, that's so you contribute, you contribute. Okay, we made this. And the most one of the travesties is the indigenous.
Yes.
Story. And my lineage on my grandmother's side was part of the whole Trail of 1,000 Tears. So we grew up. My grandmother grew up in Oklahoma at the time as well, and she was part of the whole Black Wall Street, that massacre as well. So that's why they moved to Fresno. So having that in my blood and having that already instilled in me from day one. And I grew up with really strong women who instilled that in you. Like, no, we're not bowing no heads. No, we're not doing any of that. This is your history.
Amen.
And so having said that has definitely made me be just more conscious of what I teach my kids.
And we have educators that don't even know that history, like teaching.
Oh, I had a
right
long
now.
conversation with a history teacher, and he looked at me and I said, you're not teaching them that? Well, we got an issue. That's why we homeschool.
That's why I love Facebook, because I teach people everything.
You try to be as transparent as possible.
Yeah, so there's so much cool stuff to learn about all
my
of the different
goodness.
cultures. Yes, it's
Oh my
incredible.
goodness,
About
it's incredible.
humanity.
And then
All
also
that aspect.
the food.
That's one of the best ways to explore culture is through
Yes,
the
it
plates,
is.
through the meals, through the cuisine.
So
But-
we have one more coming up here,
yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely. Go ahead, brother Dion. Hit us with your next piece.
This piece was inspired by a young, I'm gonna say young lady. She's gonna thank me for this. She's out of Oakland. Her name is Avocha. And she she's a musician. However, she's a teacher, and she's really, I was taking one of her classes, and she just inspired me as far as bringing history into my pieces, and always being a student of life. And this is a poem inspired by her. Let me put on me, because I ain't got my eyes on. Okay. Using a drum made of taut animal skin and ripened gourd, African hands kept in time with varied slaps of the Nile's flow, pattering the pyramids' beat, each brick of reed and earth, accent and empire, synchronizing with the rising of sun and falling of moon, the thud keeping pace of chain and pain as the best of the best were put in wooden coffins disguised as ships, destination hell on earth. It was the Dabalo they yearned for, standing on the auction block, gravel beating on wood while the word sold strike the sour chord. On the thrum of those who have now become sapiens' drum, meters of their heart in tune with crack of lash, ripping across flesh, measure a vile symphony. The stress of screams, cries, and wails, their spinal cords plucked as they till the soil of lost Europeans, toiling and humming. Their pulse keeping in time with the temple of tambourines throb on day 7 when they are forced to hail the deity of slavers, telling them to remain meek. Cries of praise the Lord, giving strength as each pound of flesh was ripped. It would be the Bible hymn sung as they helped this country win a war with the hope of life in harmony. In a land that rang the bell of despair, they sang out marching uphill, not allowed bullets. With snare, fife, and bayonets, their bravery would rattle and hum the ditty of victory. These so-called Negroes who refuse to trip the jig of Jim Crow, these Africans with nerves of steel move to the new rhythms of revolution, inspiring uprising of a culture tired of tyranny's accent. The steady rumble of marching footsteps, shaking loose the strange fruit of southern trees, resonates through the streets of Oakland, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York. Its new beat is brash, full of vigor and anger. The sounds of Africa as its forefather, gospel as its grandparents, blues as its birth mother, jazz as its begetter, funk as its big brother, R&B its sis, hip-hop its grandchild, country its cousin. Its flower forever in tune with freedom. The message crystals clear. The vibrations are stronger than ever.
The new fruit of the South.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Powerful, brother. You're amazing, man. Like, I have to. I met brother Dion Jamal when we were both facilitating a poetry workshop. Shout out to Lou of Lou Productions for inviting us through, and Lou of Lou Productions, Lou Dowdy.
Lou Dowdy?
Yeah, you know Lou.
She's famous!
Amen. You know what? And shout out to Lou, because this morning I just got a
We
text,
love Lou.
a
She's
group
awesome.
text for already getting ready for the planning of the Martin Luther King celebration.
Hey, we're gonna
already. I'm like, oh
you're
Lord.
singing Christmas carols with us this year.
I was here last year. I was here last year too. But yeah, we'll do it again.
We're bringing it on.
But yeah, I say all that to say that just hearing Brother Dion's works and just the depth of his works and the his is so vivid. And
How did Lou find you?
Open mic.
Open mic?
It was open mic.
You've been searching those out?
Yeah,
Okay.
especially in the
he's
beginning.
been blessing them.
Yes.
So he's been
Thank you.
blessing
I'm
them.
appreciate it. Just trying to, I can't keep it if I don't give it away, right? So just definitely just wanted to get that out there, just to teach, and so doing that, a lot of open mics, and I came across her path, and it was incredible. So we bonded.
I love in your piece, you talk about the music and the beats and the vibration, and then you get into all the genres of music. And I feel like, there's like an energy that just builds up, like a momentum that builds up in that piece that just like, it's like when you have a really good hip hop song and it just like lifts up, like, that's really, like, you can feel it in the piece. So that's really great. And I know Lou does a lot of music concerts too, right? Doesn't she do like a lot of events and things like that?
Does a lot. I'm looking forward to the Thanksgiving, sock giveaway, hot socks and meals.
Yes.
I love doing. I love helping. Help being a part of those events. Especially when we're giving
Really
back
makes
and
a
addressing the
difference.
needs of our community. But with that being said, Mary, could you please bless us with your second piece?
Yes. This second poem is a shout out to, it's actually a memorial poem to John Trudell, who was a poet, a native poet, is very famous, and he actually attended San Bernardino Valley College.
Go Wolverine.
He was recruited as a part of a California community college program that brought Native people to California.
Oh, wow.
And then he took radio, television, and film. And he did that for 1 year and promptly dropped out and went to occupy Alcatraz Island as a part of the American Indian movement. And so huge inspiration for me. If you don't know John Trudell, Google him, because luckily, because he did radio, television, film, there's lots of recordings of his voice and his poetry, which has just inspired, I think, generations of activists and revolutionary people who are trying to do the, similar work. And then also this past year, one of our faculty members at Valley passed away, Joel Lamore, who was the main person of poetry on the campus. He led the faculty in poetry readings and student poetry readings, and he also was the creator of Phineas, which is our literary magazine. So worked with all of our students for years and years and years of students. And he was the first person to hand me a mic and be like, was reading poetry in the community, but never on campus. And he was doing a faculty event, and he said, "This is for staff too." And he handed me a mic and had me read a poem on campus. And I've been doing that ever since. Yeah, and lots of other staff too who aren't considered teaching faculty, but still work on the campus.
And let's dedicate the show. What was brother's name that transition?
Joel Lamore. And John Trudell.
And John Trudell. We want to dedicate this show to both of those amazing lights that were here in our community, and thankful for the light that they shine and the passions that they stoked in so many. So this show is dedicated to them and their memories, as well as their family, as well as all the beautiful things that happen at San Bernardino Valley College. Go Wolverines.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. This is called The People's Poet. He was just a human, influenced by Crazy Horse and Brother Malcolm, inspired by the country blues, conspired with Mother Earth, hardwired, electric guitar and drums. Yeah, he rock and roll since birth. He was just a human, scattered atoms borrowed in blue, remembered by a sturdy poem or two, sat-tired zombie apocalypse view, sonnets sung out to monsters, spot-on critique of fraudsters, poets, i.e., all hail poetry. He was just a human, not really a poet, not merely an activist, not just a writer, never truly an actor, ever the truth teller, clever beyond measure. He was just a human, sharing his tears of woe, knowing it will only show that we still haven't learned our lesson. Hate and fear like virus spread until our hearts are hard or dead. He was just a human where radical radio would move him to challenge a system that confused him in a world wholly designed to consume him. He was just a human in a baby boom generation, just trying to make it, dark trench flowing, dark glasses not showing, dark thoughts imploding, dark shadows unfolding. He was just a human, but he wasn't afraid of the dark. He feared a world rapidly losing its humanity. He feared our lost ones falling prey to insanity. He feared the masses lost to ego and vanity. He was just a human, but those fears didn't stop him from facing the world and the work every day, from the writer's block to the Alcatraz docks, from old radio towers up late during finals hour. He was just a human of the very best kind, lifting up people, lifting up rhymes. The simple things he did all of the time, these are the things he leaves us behind. He was just a human, resisting counted sheep, shaking us awake when we've always been asleep, showing us that when a poet dies, we never hear rest. He was the people's poet because he was always for the people. We remember him as he was, a life all about spirit, his work all about feeling it. He pulled out the very best in us. He reminded us our meaning and showed us how to just be human.
Fire.
Human.
Humanity, the human species. That's
Thank
who
you
we
for that.
are.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Rest in power, Professor Lamore. And as John once said, it's always good to go home. Rest in power, John. And if y'all are not familiar with either of these poets, you can Google them and look them up. Their poetry is public. And I also brought a copy for you guys just to share. So I'm going to give that to you.
Thank you.
You guys can share it online or whatever.
Totally.
But I think there's so many amazing poets in the community. Like, you know,
There
all
are
the open
so
mic
many
nights that
talent,
happen, I see just so many phenomenal poets. And you know, I really appreciate that you all invite people on the show to like give them a platform to be able to get their poetry out there, because I think, you know, not everybody can go to an open mic,
That's
especially with COVID and
Writing,
you know, all
writing
that stuff.
and speaking is a definitely an incredible talent, and it's good to showcase that stuff. Yeah.
Definitely. Before we dive into each one of your final pieces, and then we'll share about how to connect and find your works and connect and support you, I just want to holler at E-Money real quick. Brother, with the poetry pieces that you've heard thus far, is there anything that stood out or resonated within yourself?
Way to put you on the spot, huh?
Really?
Were you listening?
It was so much. It was so rich.
We're gonna meet you right outside the door afterwards.
We are.
There's a quiz.
In that second stanza, what did I say?
Talking about the raza and stuff like that, you know, I'm first generation American as well. And so a lot of that resonated with me is what, like, my family came from Juarez. And, you know, just hearing that, a lot of that stuff, I definitely resonated with me.
Definitely.
Thank
good,
you.
Good answer.
Thank you, E-Money. And didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I meant to. Pressure makes diamonds, man. You a diamond over here, brother. We'll definitely, as we get into these final pieces, Brother Dion, once you conclude your last piece, if you could please share briefly where people can find your works and you know, where people can support your works.
Oh, before or after?
Oh, you can do it before.
Okay. You can find me on the gram at Dion, Dion, Jamal, Jahmal, poetry. There you will find you'll see what I bring to the table. However, my book, Black Coup, can be purchased at worldstagepress.com. Once again, that's worldstagepress.com. And you had mentioned those I've been blessed to. I was driving to Leimert Park, and just to get, because that World Stage Press is
I've been there a couple of times.
Yes, and that's where you saw the homegrown poets you never even you never even thought, oh my gosh, would come in and just do these pieces. So that's what really catapulted my career into where it's at right now. Amen. So. Like I said before, I work with the kiddos down at Big Bear Middle School. Shout out to the Big Bear Middle School. And this piece is inspired by them, and it's called We the Children. If I can get through this now. We, ages 8 to 18, release the following decree from our throats. We, victims of racism, rape, generational trauma, are trafficked, beaten, bullied, forced to survive on the crossroads of hell and innocence in anywhere USA where bad things happen on days ending in Y. Because some storms never pass and surviving is your punishment. We, battered angels, bruised from our fall down the steps of heaven and into a tomb disguised as a womb, born, buried into the ground, go to more funerals than birthdays, no vacations, just extended guilt trips. We, though underheld, overlooked by careless caregivers who can care less about caring for us, endure. We, despite our situation, attempt survival in parts. Looking to ride the crest of confidence, daring to argue with circumstance, send our future a message today that today we let the butterflies in our stomachs, in our tummies free. And even though they poison the air, we stop giving breath to dead situations, realizing that in the book of life, tragedy is one chapter and not the whole story.
That's so true.
Love that.
Powerful, brother, man.
That's for my kiddo.
Yeah.
I would love to see that printed out, like the declaration with the fancy calligraphy writing with the we, all the we's super large and have that printed
Sounds
out.
like a project.
Yes.
You
to publish that as a poster.
That San Bernardino Valley College
Put it in
collaboration
all the classrooms.
partnership.
There you go. And just to piggyback what we've been talking about prior to this, just giving them that voice and being that voice and having it. And that's what I always try to instill in them is that this is just, you're not bad. You just make bad decisions, right? And this is not the end of your story. Because I tell these teachers who have a tendency sometimes already count them out. I say, listen, they may come back and you go look at them and go, CEO?
Surprise.
Pastor?
Surprise.
Okay, archaeology? Okay, here we are.
Anthropologist.
Anthropologist, the poet, yes.
Hello.
Survivor.
Hey now, most important.
That's actually what the teacher should be looking at, like what those skills
It
are.
makes
that
too
they
much
got.
sense.
Yeah, and push them towards that angle.
It makes too much sense because it's all about putting butts in seats at this point in
Yes,
testing.
it is.
I believe that one.
It's sad that it is.
Definitely. With that being said, Mary, if you could share with our audience where they can find your works and connect with Chica and.
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder for an organization named Chica, and I don't really have my work published anywhere. I haven't done a book or anything like that. I think there's
It's
a
on
lot.
the horizon.
There's a lot of videos out there where you can just Google me and find me. But I think one of the things that I want to really lift up is that in the community, there are a ton of grassroots organizations like Chica that are not nonprofits, that are not getting paid to do the work, and are down there on the front line doing the work every day. So I want to give those organizations a shout out. Anak Bayan IE, the IE Solstice Theater, the Native Council, the Abolition Coalition. There's so many organizations, the Environmental Education Collaborative. They're just tons of organizations that I'm involved in that do the real work, and they're not getting grants, they're not getting, they're doing it because they love community, because they care about the children and the future, and they want to make a change, and they're tired of the lip service about change, and they want to see action. The Justice Families IE, like all those organizations. And then upcoming this weekend, a bunch of those organizations are coming together in coalition in San Diego. There's going to be a mobilization. It's called Cancel RIMPAC, which is multi-communities, API, Filipino, Brown, Indigenous, Black folks, like all types of folks coming together to talk about the militarization of our campuses, the militarization and recruitment of folks into the military in a way that's sometimes very predatory against our people of color. And is that really where we want to invest our money, and how much money gets invested in military militarization and also policing. So if you're all interested, it's going to be June 29th. There's a conference and June 30th at the UC San Diego campus. So I can send more information. This poem is called A Hater's Prayer. And one of the things is I was raised very Catholic. So a lot of times my family didn't understand this work that I'm doing, abolition, decolonizing, like it's a lot of fancy words. And my family's like, what are you doing? Like, how come you're not going to church? And so this is a prayer that I wrote, right?
Okay.
That it's dedicated, it's to the haters, but dedicated to their victims and their focus. And so this is for the Trumpsters, for the crooked cops, for the jealous pricks, for the haughty academics, for the Minutemen in more ways than one, for the narcissists and the racists, for the chismosos and the xenophobes, for the petty little liars and all the damn colonizers. This prayer is dedicated to you, but also a blessing of protection dedicated to your targets. And it's the hater's prayer. Bring on the haters, let them come. Let their insecurities show. Let them tip their hand. Let them prove what we already know. Let them build your strength blow by blow. Bring on the haters. Let them spew their rumors and lies. Let them cackle too until their pettiness dies. Let them judge and condemn our lives. Bring on the haters, let them try, let them pursue their eye for an eye. Do not budge, do not lift a hand, do not buy into their twisted fantasy land. Bring on the haters, let them come. Let the people see, let them expose who they truly are to be. Let them think that this is how they win, avoiding always the work within. Bring on the haters, let them come. Like hordes of the undead, they will eat their own. Let them reap what they have sown. Let their narrow-minded ways darken only their own days. Bring on the haters, let them come. Let them have their fun. If they dare enter your sacred space, do not give them power in that holy place. Their words do not define your truth. Pull them out like a rotten tooth. Bring on the haters, let them give it all they got. Let them lose sleep, let their hearts fill with rot. Let their madness steep like a rancid stew. But don't partake, don't let them become you. Bring on the haters, but let them go. Let them be wrong. Let their true colors show. Let the universal laws do what they do best. Let your peace of mind be at rest. Let the haters project their pain. Let them do it all in vain. Let them see you rise above their hate. Let knowledge of self be your ultimate fate. Aho, amen, ashe.
Ashe. Bars.
Just phenomenal. Each one of you are truly phenomenal. I just want to say thank you for the lights that you guys shine in our community. Inspiring many, uplifting those that need to be uplifting, and showcasing those that often go unseen. Knowing that we have people that really do care about our community, that want to empower our community, empower our youth, empower our future, our collective future as humanity. God bless each one of you. And I'm happy to be able to call you guys each friend. So thank you, and I love each one of you as well.
What about me?
Love you as well, brother.
Yeah, I got a friend.
How about yourself, Robert Porter? How are you feeling? Who are you at?
If I had made any face or anything, every time I close my eyes, I keep thinking about the fresh greens that Amy is making right now.
Hungry.
But I loved all the poetry and everything. I know.
But
Never host a show when you're hangry, okay?
Well, this show has been it's been absolutely awesome. It makes me feel good to see that you guys care and you're willing to express yourselves like that. That's awesome.
And you as well, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the best way. Writing poetry and writing in itself helps get your emotions out.
Totally.
And guess what? You don't have to publish it, team.
No, you don't have
You
to.
can just leave it in your diary, put it on your bed, and no one can read it, and it still makes you feel good.
Yes, it does to pour it out. But I really encourage people to I say it like this: we could set things a sail in this lifetime that could live beyond their days.
True.
And I encourage each to tell their story, to find their voice, to leave their mark, make their mark, and set it to sail. We never know where it can go, but it could live beyond our days, just to show people that we did live, that we were here.
We were here.
Definitely.
Can I make a little announcement?
Sure.
I have a couple of these zines with me, and I just want to say if folks want to help the Ethnic Studies Coalition, I'm the co-chair for Ethnic Studies IE, and we're putting out these little zines that say all we want is our inland stories told, and
Okay.
you can request one at chica@gmail.com,
Okay.
and I'll leave a couple with y'all if you
All
want to
right.
look at those.
Definitely.
And there's a series of 6 that are going to be coming out across the Inland Empire.
And this is Ipiani Lockhart and Robert Porter with the I Love San Bernardino County Radio Show, and we are
Out
NBC News on KCAA